Hey, gun people. I'm getting a lot of mixed, actually a lot more than usual. I usually have like a fringe few that think everything's a government conspiracy, it's planned, it's a false flag, they knew it, they let it happen, they kept it out, they left the door open on purpose, they knew the shutdown order was given because he was a contributor to Beto. The chief is a contributor to Beto. I saw a thing, whether or not it's true or not, I don't know. But I did see a list that somebody printed where he gave money to Beto. So if he's a Beto supporter, he doesn't like AR-15s. Beto said he's going to get your AR-15. Is it possible that he was involved in having to stand on order to help Beto? I just don't go there. I can't get there. I could be totally off and wrong. But I've been getting a lot more than usual on the parents being interviewed and their emotions are not right, saying that a couple people said they've lost a child, and they go, the last thing you want to do is talk about it when it happens. You can't even eat, you can't do anything. So that may be reasonable for somebody that actually loves or involved in their lives, but everybody handles death and stress differently. I'm seeing a lot of mixed emotions, and that doesn't seem right. But I'm just not that all these parents are actors and these kids didn't really die and they're making these parents give these fake things. I just can't get there. But not this one, but the next one I'm going to show, the guy definitely seems off. Now, is that because it was such an emotional trauma and a significant emotional event in his life that he lost a child, that his emotions are switching left and right? That's where I would probably lead, but I got to admit, there is some things off in quite a few of these interviews.
I was waiting for her.
He waited 6 hours with the rest of her family, praying for a miracle that never came.
It must have been
It was a nightmare.
Such a painful scene.
So this guy gives an interview about how painful it is. He doesn't cry at all. He doesn't get emotional. And I'm just wondering if the news people realized when they were interviewing him that he's got a Texas hat on. And if you look in his Texas insignia there is a AR-15, a little rifle there. I wonder if the media picked that up. Because as soon as I saw his hat, I was like, he's got an AR, and they're saying the parents want all guns taken. The parents want nobody to be able to buy. The parents, they're using these parents so ridiculously. It's pathetic. But anyway.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. It still is, but, the unknown is.
It still is, but, this is on May 26th this was posted. So, this is pretty quick after the shooting.
Where it was hard because we didn't know if she was still alive. We didn't know if she was, injured. We didn't know if she was already, she passed already.
Now, all he can do is treasure photos and memories, like this fishing trip the two took.
So the media loves showing these little things about the kids and making it all about the kids, but they're out for sensational. Let me get to this next interview. Now, this interview, I don't like this guy because he's a left-wing loon, but anyway, he's on CNN. That should pretty much say it all. But he is totally using this guy and acting like he cares. If I really cared that a parent just lost their kid, I wouldn't use it to my benefit to interview them and to try to get people to say, oh, look, somebody's going to say, well, you're using it by showing a video and you're trying. I'm not. I'm not using these parents. They made a video, it's public, and I'm using it, but I'm not re-victimizing them on the scene right after it happened with crime scene tape and having a kid holding a picture and telling him, I'm really sorry for your loss, and just trying to get him to cry on camera, which is what he's doing. But this guy's emotion really does some dramatic changes that I find odd, but again, I'm not with a lot of my viewers saying it's all staged, this is faked, and he's not really. I just can't get there. I'm sorry.
Just won an honor roll.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about her?
That she was just trying to do the right thing. She was just trying to call the cops. That's she was.
So he really goes from almost uncontrollable to a calm. Now, I've seen people gather themselves and they can talk after they're really emotional. But he does do a pretty dramatic change from breaking down to almost flat effect, no trauma, emotional. He goes from like 100 to 0.
So scared of just strangers and things like this. Like, she would lock the door when I would step out to put gas in the car. Like, this is literally like her worst fear. And she was just trying to help everyone.
She talked about of something like this.
So
Now, I didn't see any tears, but as a cop, we always knew when somebody was fake crying if there was no snot. That was kind of like our qualifier. No snot, it's bullshit tears. If somebody is really, really crying, normally they have snot because it's just how the body works and the fluids work. So if you've got somebody crying and there's no snot and no nose sniffling, it's probably fake. Now, he does rub his nose a couple times, but I don't see tears.
I'm a med aide, so when I arrived on the scene, they still had kids inside.
This seems odd also. He arrives on scene, he hasn't found his kid, he approaches a bloody kid, and it happens to be the kid that knows his daughter and says his daughter's dead. That is some huge coincidence. I mean, just think about it. You've got all these kids and all the media and all the cops and all the parents. And this guy happens upon one kid that's very bloody, according to him. And he knows, and she tells him, it was your daughter and she was trying to call the police. Very, very odd, but I'm still not, the government's controlling this and this is all fake.
They started bringing the kids out, and I was aiding assistants. One little girl was just.
So I was aiding and assisting, and this one little girl he targets. It happens to be the one with his daughter. Pretty coincidental.
Covered in blood, head to toe. Like, I thought she was injured. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she's okay. She was hysterical, saying that they shot her best friend, that they killed her best friend, and she's not.
Now, remember, this is a guy that's in the middle of a shooting when kids are running out of the school, and he doesn't know where his daughter's at. Most parents would be frantic to find their child, okay? Somebody's going to say, well, he's a good guy, and he cares about all children, Rick, and you don't care, and not everybody's selfish. And they'll come here with all these kind of things to disqualify this. But I'm just telling you, it's odd that he hasn't found his kid, and he's talking to this kid.
Breathing, and she was trying to call the cops. And I asked the little girl, friend, she said she's okay. She was hysterical, saying that they shot her best friend, that they killed her best friend, and she's not breathing, and that she was trying to call the cops. And I asked the little girl the name, and she's...
So, is that normal for him to ask the name? Is that consistent? It sounds consistent, but it doesn't sound consistent with a panicked parent who don't know where their child's at. It sounds consistent with somebody that's saying, hey, I'm looking for my child. Did you see my child? Oh, really? There was a child? Do you know the child's name that was trying to call the police? And would a child call their parents or the police? My guess is most kids would call their parents before they call the police, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay, and again, I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. I'm just trying to rationalize why I don't believe, and I'm not with all the conspiracy, that these parents are all coached and this is BS. I just can't go there. But there is some strange coincidences in this father's interview.
And she told me, she said, Amerie.
That's how you learn.
So, in the middle of chaos now, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but it just really seems strange. You got to picture this, and I'm trying to paint a picture. There's a shooting, there's kids, there's cops, there's kids running out, there's panic. You don't know where your kid's at. You see one child with blood on it, and we don't know if there's multiple kids with blood on it. We don't know if there was 20 kids. But he somehow singled out the one child with blood all over her, and then he has a conversation with her and asks, what was the kid's name? And it happens to be his daughter. Man, that's some coincidence.
She was so sweet, Mr. Cooper. She was the sweetest little girl who did nothing wrong. She listened to her mom and dad. She always brushed her teeth.
Now look, I always say that their kids are always perfect. And I've never met a parent, no matter what their kid did. I guarantee you, if you talk to the mom, well, I don't even have to guarantee it. She's already said it. The mom of this shooter that went in and killed all these other, she said he wasn't violent and she didn't know nothing was wrong and he was a good kid. So parents will never see any problems with their kids, no matter how glaring. So parents make the worst witnesses, and though he just lost a child, and I'm not trying to minimize his loss, but now he's going out that she used to brush her teeth. She was good. See, I don't know if that's reasonable. It sounds a little odd, but as a cop, I would lean to, this guy just lost his child, and he's going to be a little unreasonable. And he's going to say things that may make sense. And his mind's probably going 1,000-mile a minute. He's in loss. He's in probably a little bit of panic or PTSD or emotional distress. I mean, I would write this off as not a big deal. Other people are making this into, this is absolutely fake. Again, I'm not there.
She was creative. She made things for us. She never got in trouble in school. Like, I just want to know what she did to be a victim.
Now, the fact that this guy is in the middle of all this loss and panic, and he agrees to do an interview with a picture, holding a picture of his child, seems a little odd to me. But again, I would write it off as, you know what? Maybe this is the way he deals with loss. Everybody deals with loss different. Maybe this somehow he wants to get his word out. Maybe this is his 10 minutes in fame. I mean, it could be 1,000 reasons on why he's doing this. But the one reason that I just can't get to, this is all scripted and he was told what to say and he's acting. I mean, I get that all the time. These are active. They're crisis actors. Rick, you're a fool for not seeing it. All right, maybe I am a fool. I don't know.
She loved being a big sister. You have a 3-year-old.
So now he's kind of coaching him. How does he know he loves? Did he have an interview before this? How does this guy who's doing an interview know that she loved being a big sister?
Son named Zane.
We have a 3-year-old son named Zane who asks for his sister every morning when he wakes up.
He doesn't know at this point.
Again, I haven't seen him with tears. I did see him wipe his nose, I think, once, or he's going to.
We've informed him that his sister is now with the God, and that she will no longer be with us. And of course, he just cried. I mean, he's 3 years old, and it's just emotional for him to even process.
This seems normal. I agree. A young kid, he can't process. So he's talking fairly logically now. But during the interview, he does kind of make some extreme kind of jumps.
She just turned 10. Her birthday was on the 10th. May the 10th, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. You had a party for it.
We just gathered a family and had a dinner. She just got her phone. She'd been wanting her phone for so long, and we finally got it for her.
So here he goes from almost uncontrolled sobbing to pretty natural, and he's recalling and remembering a good time. Again, people deal with loss differently. It doesn't jive with me, but I'm not going through it.
She just tried to call the police.
She actually tried to call.
Yes, I got confirmation from 2 of the students in her classroom that she was just trying to call the authorities.
So now he got confirmation from other kids. Did this father go interview all the other kids? I would think, I mean, I don't know. Would parents, after you lost a child, be running around talking to other kids? Maybe that was a way of grieving or getting information. I mean, I'd really like to have a trained, somebody who does grief counseling, say this without a left-wing agenda trying to push gun control or whatever, and actually evaluate this guy's behavior, his thought process. How does this correlate with other trauma victims? His interview really struck me as odd when I watched it.
And I guess he just shot her. How you look at this girl and shoot her?
Again, this is pretty uncontrolled sobbing, but I haven't seen any tears. Could that mean he's been crying for days and maybe there's no longer tears? Could be. I'm just asking questions, people. I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other.
Oh, my baby. How do you shoot my baby? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, of course.
Wouldn't you think his wife would be with him in this? I mean, he's hugging a picture. Would he not be hugging his wife because they're both sharing? Again, I don't know. I'm just asking.
How's your wife?
I just want to ask everybody to just keep my wife in their prayers. Amerie had the best mother. She did everything she could for her daughter, and she's just beating herself up so bad about this.
So he goes from missing his daughter so much and thinking of her to immediately switching to thinking of his wife going through bad and to help and pray for her. That's some what I kind of refer to as kind of some severe mood swings or emotional topic swings, whatever you want to call it. Again, somebody's going to come here and go, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just asking questions, and as a cop, that's what I do. I ask questions to try so I can figure out and understand and get to the truth. And this interview struck me as odd.
Maybe it's not your fault, I promise. She just wants you to be happy.
So that's when I see him rub his nose and I hear him sniff. So is that real snot, fake snot, real tears? I don't know.
Is there anything else you want people to know about Amerie?
See, he's still trying. Even though this guy's going through all this, instead of terminating the interview and letting him deal with his grief, this piece of shit is like, man, this is great footage. I got to try to get him some more. Maybe I can ask some questions. Do you remember what you did on the first birthday with her? Do you remember when you first fed her a bottle? Were you there when she was born? I'm surprised he didn't go there because this is just such a stage. Now, look, I realize this guy's a weasel, but I'm not jumping to this guy's faking it.
I just want people to know that she just died trying to save her classmates.
She died trying to save her classmates because she called the police instead of her parents. Odd.
Just wanted to save everyone.
Now, this could be a form of rationalizations people sometimes believe. I say that a lot. People see what they want to see. So that it's confirmation bias. He wants to see his child as saving people. She was trying to call. She was good. She was perfect. I get all that. Look, I'll just leave it at that. You guys can go watch it. This was on CNN. First responder shares heartbreaking story, learning about his daughter's death. All right? Well, in that there, this case just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I'm more concerned about the total breakdown of the school not securing the school, allowing the shooter to get in, the background checked on the shooter, supposedly bought the guns legally. Where did he get his money? How did he buy them legally? Why didn't it pick up that he was arrested for making threats? He had made threats before. The cops waiting outside with 19 officers. Nobody went in. Nobody engaged the shooter. Those are more questions that I'm asking on this shooting. But this is just more odd thing on this shooting. All right, well, in that there.